Hello. Hi, everyone. This is Kim. Oh my goodness, what a great day it is. It's beautiful here. I'm in Northern California, and it is not really chilly. We're just not getting much of a fall yet, but I can look out my window and see that the trees are swaying, the wind is whipping up, which means that we are going to have lots of leaves all over the place. So that's always fun. We have a lot of trees here, and so lots of leaves to clean up. And I am super excited. Let me see who's here. Hi, everybody. I should have you on mute. Hi to everybody that's here. Hi to everybody that's listening later. And we are on day 6 of our Peace with Food Halloween challenge. And I don't know about you, but I just have been enjoying this a lot. It has made me more conscious of food, more conscious, and I was pretty conscious about food, but like when I do these things, I join in with you and I get to experience it too. And I had a lot of ahas over the weekend, and I wonder what ahas you have. And if you want to email me some ahas, put it in our Facebook page. I would love to read them. The weekend for me was, I did a bit of work, but I also did some fun things. And I did some journaling, some meditating, and some fun times with my family. But I also practiced the guidelines we've been talking about. I've been noticing when I'm hungry and full. And actually on Monday, I didn't quite make the mark. I got too hungry. We were out shopping and I didn't have the right food that I like to eat. And so I waited and waited to get home. And I didn't overeat, but I just didn't feel great about it, because when I get too hungry, then my body doesn't work as well as I want it to. So it wasn't about overeating, about getting too hungry, but it was about not feeling totally okay in my body. And I just noticed that. And that was one of my takeaways. I practiced the 3 deep breaths as often as I remembered it. And when I remembered it, I actually ate slower. I actually probably need to put it on a little card or something to put it in front of me so that I remember. Take 3 deep breaths before I eat. But I've noticed that I actually have been doing more deep breathing just as I'm walking around. I kind of take in and out a breath to center myself. I'm sorry, I have a little cough going on here. And that actually is a great takeaway. What else? I've been practicing actually all of the behavior busters. We'll go over all of them a little later today. Self-love. I did a lot of things for myself this weekend and really enjoyed it. It's just been good. Sitting while I eat. I've noticed if I start that kind of, I do this thing. Do you do this thing? And I just noticed that this weekend is like, I'm walking with my plate to go sit down and I'll take a bite as I'm walking. Unconscious, not okay for me. It doesn't work. And I go, Kim, stop. Let's take the food to the table and let's eat. Once again, maybe that was the ravages of me being overly hungry and just eating my normal food, but just kind of taking a bite as I'm walking along. So I'm back into more conscious eating and more conscious living, and I like that. I've been totally doing my affirmations. I love the affirmations that we have in our Facebook page. So I've been feeling really good. I also yesterday worked for hours on my book, Feed Your Soul, Nourish Your Life, a 6-step system to peace with food. Say that 10 times fast. That was a long one. And it should be going out to the publisher today. I'm really excited. I just decided I'm getting it in. I'm getting it done. It was like this close to being done. It's already been edited, and then now I'm just looking at the formatting and making sure that everything fits, and then it goes to the publisher. So I'll let you know. I hope to have that by the end of the week, because I have a publisher that has a really, really quick turnaround time. So that's me, and that is some good things that are happening with me. please share with me, email me, put on our Facebook page, what are some good things happening for you? I find that when I put food in its proper place as nourishment, I have more energy. I feel more enlivened. I feel more lively. And that's how I felt this weekend. And it's just kind of, for me, it's a tightening of what I already know and what I already practice. And there's always room to do things a little more and do things a little better. And that's where I'm at. So let's get started today with our day 6 of our Peace with Food Holiday Challenge. And as we always do, I'm going to start out with a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Let's do that 3 times together. We're focusing on this because this is one of our many tools that we have that we're using to, it's part of our daily guidelines is to do it before each meal, but I actually like doing it all throughout the day. So let's do this together to get us centered and present. Gosh, that always makes me feel good. As I've told you, I like to do it with my eyes closed. Breathe in and out. I kind of take a large breath in through my nose and one out through my mouth. That's just how I like to do it. Do it whatever way works for you and just feel the goodness. It feels, it always feels great to me to feel that connected inside of my body. Today we have another affirmation, daily affirmation, and this one came to me earlier today. I was trying to think of what fit for what we've been talking about and what we're going to talk about today. And today's affirmation is, I am centered. That is a good one. I am centered. Notice I can do deep breaths around I am centered. To me, it's about that idea of mindfulness, about self-love and coming back into my body, physical too. Remember our 6 components of ending emotional eating is physical, emotional, thoughts, lifestyle, mindfulness, self-love. Self-love is the 6th, not the last, just the 6th. And as we say, I am centered, it really to me embodies feeling physically centered, also being more mindful inside of myself and showing myself love, that I will take care of myself and nurture myself inside. What I talk about is putting food in its proper place as nourishment. Nourishment. And feeding our soul in a different way than with food. I am centered is our thought for the day, is our affirmation for the day. We've also been doing every day that I've been on. This is actually day 6, but it's the 4th day I've been on a Zoom call. I didn't want to do Zoom calls over the weekend. I was concerned that, you all might not be available. I wanted you to live your lives and do and practice all the things we've been doing. And me too. I wanted to do that too. We've had, up to this point in time, we've had behavior busters, and I'll go over them all later, all the ones we've learned. But today's behavior buster is actually one of my personal favorites. And what I know is that when I practice this behavior buster, I feel good. And the behavior busters are a way for us to bust away from behavior that doesn't work for us and go into behavior that is more functional, more positive, and more self-affirming. Today the behavior buster is one that fits all of those. And today's behavior buster is what I call conscious journaling. And you might groan and moan out there and say, Kim, I don't want to write. I'm not a writer. And I'm just going to tell you, just sit back and relax while I talk to you about why journaling is important. And this kind of journaling, because it's one of my favorites. Conscious journaling is a journaling where we get in touch with what's going on. I like to use the method that Julia Cameron wrote about in The Artist's Way, and she calls it the morning pages. And it's a form of conscious journaling that she came up with. I'm going to tell you her guidelines, and then I'm going to bust out of those and tell you what I think. But Julia Cameron's guidelines, and I follow these guidelines, and I like them. Her guidelines are everything every day, first bit in the morning when you wake up, you write 3 pages longhand of conscious journaling, a stream of consciousness. What that is just journaling what your head says. Oh, I can't believe I have to get up. I don't like having to do this. I don't like that Kim told me I have to journal. I hate journaling. I hate writing. I hate what's going on. I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write. Oh, I remember yesterday this thing happened and I felt happy with it. And you just keep writing, and you write your stream of consciousness. And what happens is that through the 3 pages, and truthfully 3 pages, just hear me out, it only takes 10 minutes. Really, it does. If you write, I've timed it. I know because I've timed it. If you are writing and just keep writing and keep writing and keep writing, you will get about 3 pages in 10 minutes. No cross outs, no respellings, no, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have said that kind of things. Just seriously, just writing down everything your head says. And 10 minutes is not that much time. It really isn't. What happens is that through those 10 minutes of that conscious journaling is you get more in touch with yourself. You get out the things that need to be said. You get away from the negativity. And that shows up for me throughout the day in feeling more centered, more connected. And when I'm centered and connected, I'm less likely to overeat. It just works. It just works that way. I promise. What happens is that we don't often take the time or use self-love as a motivator to do these things because we're into the day-to-day, I've got a lot to do. And I own it. I get that way too. I did my conscious journaling this morning and go, oh, why don't I do this every day? Because I love it. It feels so good. And when I'm on a roll with it, I feel great. I just do. I want to encourage you to do this. So I get Julia Cameron's idea of first thing in the morning, 3 pages longhand, conscious streaming of information. It can be overwhelming. And let me tell you, I was going to bring in my journal. I have a journal that looks, what I use is I use this kind of a journal. This isn't mine. Mine's in the other room. And I'm not going to go get it right now. But this is about this size of a journal. And it's lined, or no, this one isn't. This one's dotted, but it's a lined paper that I use. And I actually find that I just use a spiral notebook too. And it works just as good. You don't need to buy a fancy journal. So one is do it any time during the day. I don't care. Do it in the morning. Do it in the afternoon. Do it in the evening. I've done it myself in the afternoon. Sometimes the mornings are pretty busy, and I like to have time to meditate and be calm when I do it. And that doesn't always show up in the morning. And I'm just not an early morning girl. So I I could get up an extra half hour earlier, but that's just not always my style. So I actually did it. I didn't do it first thing in the morning. I got up, got everything going, my daughter to school. I came back, and then I wrote. That's how I do it. Sometimes I do it in the afternoon, and I have clients who actually do it in the evening right before they go to bed. The cool thing that they tell me about conscious journaling before they go to bed is it helps them sleep better. If you're a person who wakes up thinking and droning on and on about all the things you should have done, all the things you didn't do, conscious journaling is a great tool to help you sleep. And I highly recommend it. So 3 pages, do it anytime during the day. You could type it out. I do agree with Julia that the art of just writing it is really good. And also when you do it on the computer, it'll tend to spell check. It'll tend to do all kinds of things. There's something about very primary about the art of writing, and it really gets you connected with your hand. I encourage you to write. If you want to do it on your computer, knock yourself out. Just do it, okay? Just do the conscious writing. I actually have a friend of mine who does a lot of her conscious writing does her thumbs on a text, and she just writes herself. She just keeps writing, and that's how she does her writing. So do that. Just do it. So 3 pages, sometime during the day, conscious stream of a stream of consciousness consciousness kind of journaling. And the other thing that I have with the idea that I have with this kind of writing is don't go back and read it. It just is really a stream of consciousness to get things out. It's not your to-do list. It's not, what do I get done? I actually, I kept by me this morning when I was conscious journaling here's my book, my weekly planner, and that as something came up, I did move off of my journaling and just said, oh, I have to do this today, and I'll put it on my list for today in my weekly planner. So I do it that way to kind of not keep it in my conscious journal. I put it somewhere else. So that's what I do for any ideas that come up that I need to follow up on. I put it somewhere else. So don't go back and read it. There's nothing good that comes of it. It really is it's a stream of consciousness that is all the crap in your head. And we need to get out all that crap because it weighs us down, literally weighs us down, and can lead us to overeat. So that's my push for the behavior buster for today is conscious journaling. 3 pages every day, morning, noon, or night. I don't care. Get an old journal. Don't get anything that's really pretty, because people tend to say, I don't want to write in this journal because it's too pretty and I don't want to ruin it with all the crap that's in my head. Buy an old 3-ring binder. They're like $1. Seriously. I've even done it where I use paper. I write on pieces of white paper. I have some around here. And I just write on paper that's not in any kind of binder, and then I shred it. I don't need to keep it. Okay. So conscious journaling, 3 pages a day, stream of consciousness. Don't black anything out. Longhand, anytime, morning, noon, or night. Get everything out onto the page. As my writing coach says, she says, put it to the page. Whatever you're feeling, put it to the page. I love that. It works. And what I wanted, so now you might be wondering, why do I need to do this, Kim? This is a lot to ask of me. And it is, but it's not. One of the major reasons why this form of journaling works is it decreases anxiety, because it puts on paper everything that you've been holding inside. Everything we hold inside increases anxiety, increases depression, increases these feelings. And these feelings end up showing up in food, in overeating, in binging, in emotional eating, right? We have emotions, it can show up in overeating. This gets those feelings out and it clears them out. It can lessen anxiety, it can lessen depression, it can lessen sadness, overwhelm, it can lessen. Those are good reasons, right? Really good reasons. It also can help you understand what's going on. You'll get a deeper understanding about what's going on inside of yourself. And when we understand what's going on inside of ourselves, we understand what's going on about food. You might not find a one-to-one connection that if you talk about how angry you are at somebody, that you notice that that's why I overeat. But there can be a connection. And a connection is good. That's what we're looking for, is to move food out into its proper place as nourishment. And we feed our soul in other ways. Conscious journaling is one way to do that. And what I like about my conscious journaling is I can put to the paper what's coming up, what I want, what are my ideas, and what I'm holding in my heart. I have something coming up about some new ideas I'm coming up with, and they're not formed yet. And I just started to put down ideas of what I thought, or my lack of clarity. And as I put it to the paper in just a journaling kind of form, in just kind of scribbles, all these things, it becomes clearer to me. Actually today, I will tell you that I have a plan of action after my journaling today. I was unclear about what I wanted to do. I had kind of an idea, but once I did my conscious journaling, I was very clear on what a next step is. I don't know what the whole plan is going to be, but I have a next step to see about moving some things forward. So when you do this conscious journaling, it can be about releasing the past, embracing the present, and looking to the future. It can give you all of those perspectives. If you have any questions about this, email me. put a question in the Facebook group. Let me know if you're struggling. If you do it already, or if you want to do it, tell me that. I'd love to hear. We have 2 more days left together, and I've had a lot of fun doing this. This has been super fun and encouraging, and lots of goodness has come out of it. And I want to share with you one question that I got. I had put out that I would love everybody to send me questions, and here's one question I got. And it says, what they asked was how to ease the anxiety that encourages my overeating. How do I ease the anxiety that encourages my overeating? And as I was looking over that question, I thought about the behavior buster we just talked about, conscious journaling. How do I ease the anxiety? Write about it. When you're feeling a lot of anxiety, just sit down and put it on the page. And actually, I can do questions. Let me write this down for myself. I do some guided questions for people on how to journal around certain topics. I'll put that in our Facebook group. I'm writing myself a note. So there are questions that you can ask yourself, and then just say, my anxiety encourages my overeating by. And then you write down an answer. And then you say the same question. My anxiety encourages my overeating by, and you put down more until you have nothing left to say. And then the next question could be, I take care of my eating by. And then you start journaling what you could do. I take care of my eating by doing this. And you start just doing answers to these questions over and over again. It's a deepening of connection to the question in and of itself. So journaling on this question is one way to help lessen the anxiety that feeds your overeating. So that is my answer to that question. Thanks for the question. I really appreciate it. We've got a lot of behavior busters we've been doing, people. I want to remind you what we've already been learning, because you're going to have 6 of them at the end. In the end, on the last day, you'll have 6. I've already mapped out all 6. They're incredible, incredible. So the behavior busters we've already talked about is practice hungry and full. I know it's easier said than done, but practice, practice. Eat at the table, use utensils and napkins. That's primary, but it's easier said than done, right? It's easier said than done. I've caught myself, like I said, walking and eating, and I thought, oh, I gotta change this. So I pick up my food and I don't put my hand in it. I just take it to the table. Hungry, full, eat at the table. Practice self-love. We talked on Friday about all kinds of techniques to practice self-love, but come up with your own ideas about how you will practice self-love. Actually went in the Facebook group this last weekend, and put in ways that I was practicing self-love. And the 4th that we're going over today is conscious journaling. Conscious journaling daily. It works. It works. Conscious journaling. Do it as often as you can. Do it whenever through the day. If you can't do 3 pages, do 1. I'm okay with that. Do 1. Do a half a page. Sit for a minute and consciously write. Get out what's on in your head. Just start somewhere. Okay? Next, I want to remind you to do all the daily guidelines. Notice when you're hungry and full and allow it to guide you. Take 5 deep breaths before each meal. Practice the behavior busters we've been talking about each day. So at this point we have, 4 of them. Practice all 4. Practice all 4. Use positive affirmations at least 3 times a day. Today's positive affirmation was, I am centered. I am centered. All of these work together, and I think what you'll notice is that we don't talk about not eating candy or calories or where to hide your candy at. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about how to have a holistic approach to managing our lives, to being present in our lives, and then food won't show up as issues. Or if it shows up as an issue, then there's more for us to learn, or there's more for us to explore. But we have some guidelines and some starting spots to figure it out. All of what I'm talking about leads you to having peace with food. There's a lot of candy around. I haven't had a bit of it. It just doesn't, we bought an extra bag for Halloween, and it's not a big deal. And what I promise you is, as you do these things, it will become not a big deal to you too. What I still want questions, I still want comments, I want struggles or any successes. I really want to keep knowing what's going on for you, and I thank you to everybody who's been sending them in to me. I also just put up, so we have 2 days left, and what you might be wondering is, well, what next, Kim? What do I do? How am I going to keep this going? And I'm going to do a Thanksgiving Peace with Food challenge, and I'm going to do a Christmas Peace with Food challenge. I'll post in the, and so what I'm going to offer to all of you is that if you want to get in on the Thanksgiving Peace with Food challenge, it'll be for 8 days, just like we did now. And the Christmas Peace with Food challenge, I'm going to post a link for all of you, a special link, actually. I just made it right before we got on the phone or on the Zoom call, to get 2 for 1. It's $20 a piece, so it would be $40 for Thanksgiving, or $20 for Thanksgiving, $20 for Christmas. I'm going to give it to you guys for $20. 2 more times to meet, to keep this going, to keep all this goodness going, to help you have peace, because I tell you, there's more challenges to come at Thanksgiving and even more at Christmas. Let's do it together. Let's support each other. This whole series will be up for another week, a week after we end, so a week after Thanksgiving, or after Christmas. Take a deep breath. A week after Halloween, it will be up, and then I won't have it up anymore because I'm getting ready for the Thanksgiving challenge. I would love to have you be a part of it. I'm going to put the link in for all of you. But consider having Thanksgiving and Christmas also taken care of, where you're feeling peace with food, where you're learning more skills. We're not going to do all this. We're going to do some of the same things, but it will be, you'll already know it and you'll have a deepening understanding of it. But I'm going to add Thanksgiving is different than Halloween, is different than Christmas. And I just have lots of ideas. I'm super excited. I want to know I appreciate you, and you're doing such a good job. I am so glad that you are a part of this challenge with me, and that you're trying out all these new ideas and taking them to heart and really focusing on how to have peace with food. This is Kim McLaughlin. Until tomorrow at 12 o'clock, I'm looking forward to seeing how y'all are doing, and have a great rest of the day.